So I think, yeah, Victor is, he's not going to be pleased with a 5.25 as his highest wave or jump score at the moment. So he's probably going to look to improve with a double forward. And we had it right there. There was the double forward. Pretty neat one. Not the biggest ramp to take off on, but I think he managed to pull off a pretty nice double. And I think we're probably going to see a score in, I'd say, around the sevens for that one. It was a clean landing. So obviously he's going to improve his scores on Lars Gobisch. It's going to be interesting to see what scores we're looking at there. Still didn't come in. Yes, Vaclav, as you said, live scoring only on. You should be able to find that on the PWA site. As I said, go on to pwaworldtour.com and enter the push the live button. It's the second one from the left of the tabs. And there you should be able to get it. I'm just gonna hit you up here. So we saw, he actually, Victor Fernandez got an 8.62 for that double forward. So, yes, currently the lead with the 22.49 points. He's got a 13.87 on the jumps. So, expanding his lead. But actually, John Sky with a 22.76 overall lead in Heat 2A. So, he would be leading over Victor at the moment if they were sailing against each other. I think I kind of like looking at the heats like that as well. Okay, last so we've got 7 minutes and 15 seconds left of this heat, and yeah, obviously that's like pretty much half the heat gone. And I think the guys are. It's obvious that the jumping is pretty easy. Yeah, they've got heaps of jump scores coming in. Lars Gobisch though still looking for. He's only got a 6.0 back loop, so he needs to improve his jumping in order to keep up with Victor at the moment. But in Heat 2A, I think it's obvious that both guys have both got 3 waves and 3 jumps, so they're pretty much on it. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go. I think Lars Gobisch is. He's got heaps of wave scores. If I was him, I would just be concentrating. Obviously, Victor made a massive back loop. We didn't see it, unfortunately, but we heard the commentator going a bit nuts about that one. So it's probably it looked like it was quite close to shore and also with some good height. So that's probably why he went ballistic out there. And we've got Ben Prophet entering the room here. Are you naked, Ben? He's smiling. So I guess he is naked. So, yeah, as I said, Lars Gobisch, he's got a 5.2 wave score and a 4.0, which is about okay. But he's missing some jumps. He's got a 5.6 back push loop there coming in, but still sitting in second position. He's going to have to step it up. In the Heat 2A, Skyboy leading, he's in a pretty decent lead, so I don't think that we're gonna see any changes there. But yeah, I think it speaks for itself. And Lars on the wave. So Lars Gobisch having a few turns there, and Anton Martin on the wave before, but you see him kind of backing out of that wave. It is super difficult to get the right wave selections. Oh, with the Taka there, pretty nice, huh? Lars Gobisch with a small Taka on the wave and heading back upwind for probably another jump. And we've got, just a little bit under 5 minutes left of this heat. And here we go, Victor with a little turn. I said he's in the situation where there's sort of a gap between the 2 waves. It's really difficult to get anything really well done, but he manages to get back on the upwind part of that wave, get a few turns. Okay. So Lars Gobisch heading out and Anton Martin obviously heading in. Lars is probably he might actually have to bust out a double or something like that to get up with his scores. Anton Martin with a nice tacker there. I think, maybe not. Just a little bit of a tail slide.
Perfect. So thanks to Ricardo's help, now I'm back online.
And Lasse Friis asking us how long time will the sailors be sailing before prize giving? I think, we're going to be sailing all the way through until darkness, and at least until we're finished with the contest. It's still a little bit too early to say if we can get that double elimination running. But do you have Hugo? Do you have information on the double? You think it's going to be possible?
I'm not sure yet.
All right. As one of the PWAQ
God, I'm boiling out there. It is
what
definitely
wetsuit are you in?
3-2.
And boiling.
Absolutely boiling. I am cooking.
So maybe, there's one of the guys asking, I'm trying, how cold is the water where you cannot warm? A little bit difficult, but I think it boils down to, is it cold or is it warm?
Yeah.
It's
to be honest, I don't care. I got through that first round. I'm sort of like, because I knew Phil was going to be a tough draw. And I'm just reading back through the chat board, and like Andy said, Phil turns on, you know, like full mast high. He just belts the hell out of it. And in these conditions, are probably not his favourite, but he's still pretty handy. And he actually, like I said, it went a bit more onshore in our heat, which made it a bit more tricky.
But actually, the forecast also said that it was going to turn onshore, and then the wind should pick up. So that's probably what we're seeing at the moment. But difficult, not really, that's super difficult conditions, but obviously wind turning more onshore is not going to make it any easier. Here we've got Morris lining up for a frontside hit, not
the power, not
enough,
the power. I tell you, that was what I was sitting there before my heat with the 4-7 on, and I'm just going, this isn't right, there's something wrong with this, I've got to change. And I nearly put the big board on as well, but in the end, not. I think Marsilio's on a 5-0. I saw that before, so he's on a, he's not on super big sail, but he's on his 88. I think he said 87 or whatever he said. It was about nearly 90 litre board.
Yeah. That's probably that 88 we spoke about. It seems to be one of his favorite boards, and obviously using the board as a twinser, which is a little bit interesting.
Okay, so we're just hearing John Sky and Victor Fernandez are up next.
They're up next for that's the next heat we're sailing, huh?
Better have a look at the draw. Not that I'm in a hurry to get out for my heat, I have to say. It's man on man, so you'll get to see me properly get.
So here we got more. It's lining up for a jump, I think. No,
well, we might see it. The waves sort of back down. You're going towards them. You're thinking, yeah, this is the one, and then suddenly.
That's it, huh?
And there's this fine rain in the air. I said it on the beach, and it's almost like you need windscreen wipers on your eyes because. Okay, so we're just hearing there is going to be a resale for that Dario and Martin Tainhove.
So are we going straight into that?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay. We're just going to find out the heat draw for you to find out what's happening.
Obviously,
but that is
someone is. What do you say?
Somebody.
Not sure about the result.
There must have been a problem, but there must be a reason for that. They don't just do a resale because someone says so.
Actually, what I will say about it, but as I said, I didn't see that tabletop. But what I did see was Martin Tainhove sitting at around, I think, just around 22 points or maybe 23. And Dario, when he snapped his mast, he was at like 10 points, I think.
Yeah, it was.
And then he actually racked up like a massive amount of points in no time. So Dario, obviously sailing really, really well in the end of that heat. So
okay, it's going to be straight after this.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, what has happened is we saw on the stream apparently a one-handed backlip. I wasn't here, but you boys must have seen a one-handed backlip, and the judges didn't actually see it. So that is the reason they're reselling. Nothing to do with anything else. That's the reason, and it would have probably put Lampy straight through if you got that.
It was tight.
Okay, so they're going to resell that straight after this heat between Moritz and Marsilio Brown. Yeah, okay, that's what they're going to do.
So obviously, as the heat ended, Lampy Tainhove was actually in the lead, and I was sitting there going, "This is going to be really, really close." And I was not really. I didn't want to make the call and think Lampy won or Dario won, but obviously as the heat ended, just like as the guys went to the water, I saw the scores going. Okay, so really, really close, within probably less than a point.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've got to do. Andy King just on the message board saying I should do a big tabletop against Costa. Could get 12 points.
Well, Andy King
Buenas tardes, buenos bienvenidos. Estamos en este momento otra vez viendo las evoluciones del campeonato de la Copa del Circuito Mundial Circuito Mundial de Windsurf, que se está celebrando en aguas de Klitmoller en Dinamarca. Perdón. Llevamos emitiendo desde el martes imágenes del Campeonato del Mundo de Melges y también Campeonato del Mundo de Windsurfing, Kitesurf y Paddle Surf. En este momento estamos visualizando lo que es la final del Campeonato del Mundo de Windsurf, en el que tenemos un representante que está intentando revalidar el título de campeón del mundo que tiene el año pasado, que es Víctor Fernández, con el que charlábamos el jueves de esta semana.
Pretty convincing victory for Marcelo Brown, and he's up into level 5th place.
Hoy las condiciones de viento son inmejorables. Llevábamos 3 días totalmente parados, sin hacer ningún tipo de regata. Y bueno, pues hoy la verdad que allí están en Dinamarca, están ahora mismo sobre 7-8 grados de temperatura y el viento aproximadamente es de entre 20 y 25 nudos. Alternadamente estamos pasando imágenes del Campeonato del Mundo de Melges 32 que se está celebrando en Porto Redondo, Sardinia, Italia, y que tienen en este momento un viento aproximadamente de 5 o 6 nudos y no va a haber prueba hasta las 1 de la mañana, que volveremos a conectar para realizar la salida de la última regata del día y del campeonato.
Sounds like he's on form today, so I'm sure there's a lot of people out there willing the big Dutchman, all 2 meters 8 of him, to get through this heat against Dario Ojeda, but I'm pretty sure Dario has a fair few supporters as well. Who else is on the message board? What else have we got coming up? Did I do the Polish warm-up? As funny as it might sound, I actually did, because my forearms were giving me a bit of grief. And I was trying to do it, and I was trying to get Justin to hide me, because I didn't want people to see me, because I knew I'd end up on some video somewhere. So I actually did a bit of it. So, yeah, Nick Odom, I have to owe you that one, because I didn't cramp up at all in that, which was kind of nice. So you can see the rain coming down now. This is when it does get a little bit, visibility goes. You can see Dario Ojeda on that orange Gastrocell, just behind him, Martin Tainhove, a.k.a. Lampy, the big, and he's called Lampy because he looks like a big lamp. He used to have a red nose apparently, and he looked like a big lamp. I think that's what I got told. Anyway, I'm not sure that's the true story, but that's what I got told.
It's a good story anyways.
It's definitely a good story.
So that's the one we're sticking with.
And so Lampy's ranked 17th for the moment, Dario Ojeda in 13th, so pretty closely ranked, and that will explain why it was so close. And these probably similar conditions to what they get in Holland, I would imagine. Don't shoot me if you're Dutch, but I would imagine.
I mean,
recordarles que las regatas del Campeonato del Mundo de Melges, que se está celebrando en Porto Redondo, Rotondo, va de primero el Bombarda, seguida del Argo y del Azimut Sting, que ayer hicieron un buen campeonato. Es un barco, estos barcos están patrocinados por el Bombarda, está patrocinado por Andrea Pozzi y Lorenzo Bresani, el Argo por Jackson Carroll y Cameron Appleton, y el Azimut by Sting es Alessandro Rombelli y Paul Godinson. En este barco, en el Azimut by Sting, hay 2 regatistas españoles, uno es Alberto Viejo y otro es Víctor Mariño. También tenemos españoles en un barco japonés,
which I think a lot of the boys were on, you know.
El Mama Yatu,
A few of them, they were mid.
donde va el táctico Manu Waller, Javier de la Plaza, Pedro Mas, Federico Amenazas, Felipe Gallastegui y Joan Fulana.
I probably would have liked an 80 today. It would have been a good size, but I only have an 80 and a 75, so the magical 80 still out there. But at the moment, Martin Tainhove has gone back out for the resale.
Que están en la clasificación de quintos en la general.
Loads of spray, yeah, that was looking good. So Martin, it's obviously plenty of size and energy to produce a bit of spray. That guy, those wave points, a little bit of a different strategy. Obviously, from John compared to Victor's, they might have exactly the opposite tactics of each other.
This is kind of not similar conditions, but probably similar conditions that we get a lot on the UK tour. You know, it's kind of not marginal, but it's not full firing. You know, there's still good jumps to be had, but you've got to work it. And you can see John just working the waves. And I think
it's kind of interesting to see that, like, it's actually, they're completely opposite of each other.
Oh, yeah.
Victor's got 4 jumps. Skyboy's just got 4 waves, and then vice versa on the jumps, like, on the other sides.
But Victor did just punish those jumps on that first couple of minutes. First 4 minutes?
He nearly had it wired down in the first run. I mean, if that back loop had been just slightly better, he could have pretty much just stopped.
Yeah, well, we can actually say Victor Fernandez is the master of Klitmoller. He got knocked out in the first round by, I think, Camille Juban or someone like this a few years ago. He was out first round, came back. Oh, table forward.
Table forward. I'm sure he would have wanted that to be a double forward, huh?
I don't know. That went around a bit sideways. That's how you break your board if you're going to break it. But it looked like it could be really nice. But I'm going to say Victor Fernandez came from the first round all the way through.
See here, Victor, again, on a pretty nice wave, huh? Good size there.
Yeah, he's finding the waves.
He's getting that free wave board turning. Oh,
I tell you what, you couldn't have timed that better. I mean, that's the problem. That's the price you're paying. I'm not saying a free wave board is bad, but it doesn't turn as easy as a wave board.
No.
And we've seen how good it can turn, but then you do get the odd problem. But still, he's doing a good showing for that free wave board.
I mean,
just check the score.
Yeah, 6.2 for score on a free wave board.
Well, he's got 27.5 points, and we've still got 4 minutes left in his heat.
That's what I mean. Racking up points at the moment. Maybe it's the way to go with that free wave equipment in these conditions.
Apparently, I thought that was Borat then, but it's Borat. It said he's got it set up as a thruster. He saw it on the last wave ride.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for that information, guys. Borat.
But he's looking good, Victor Fernandez. Like I said, he's been through probably the most heats ever in Denmark history. Went from last to first. Did he win?
Yeah.
He was right back into the final, at least.
I don't think he won.
He was right back into the final.
Costa won twice, huh?
Okay, so I think I'll have to check.
And this being the
results.
fourth.
I'm sure some stato out there will do it. I'm going to get on Skype just in case someone is trying to reach me right now. I usually get a few Skype messages when I get something slightly
Actually,
wrong.
the message board is pretty good. Every time I put out questions, it's like right there.
We got the boys watching. They all know what's going on.
We were talking about how Lars was, and I, by fault, said he was 42, and it didn't take more than like 10 seconds. Like, he's 44.
He's older than me.
Poor guy. Well,
nothing wrong with that.
Here
He's
we go.
Still going.
Skyboy. Not really. He's too far downwind to really.
You can't find the lip then, can you? You're chasing it the whole way out, and you think you see something like this one out there.
Yeah.
You looks good, but you get to it, and it's gone pretty much.
It's gone. It's flatter.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky thing about this place, huh? It's like constantly waves building, but then also disappearing.
But you can have to say, how late did they leave it this year for the wind to blow? They gave us the whole week. They gave us a bit of a tease at the beginning with a bit of breeze, and then a bit of a tease slightly the way through the week, but not much. And then they've saved it all for today. And we have got very, very unbeatable conditions at the moment. And it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. You would have to favour Philip Costa going on past form and sort of conditions. But Victor Fernandez, he's looking pretty good. You know, this isn't the sort of conditions where you're going to be boosting, you know, massive stall doubles and plus that. And Victor can do doubles. So maybe it's on for an upset. Here we go. There we go. Just couldn't get the rotation. Floaty jump from Victor Fernandez. That's what I'm saying. You're having to pick ramps that you don't necessarily, you know, you wouldn't necessarily choose in free sailing. So could we see an upset today? Andy King saying he finished second, so he got all the way through to the final from the first round. I think the only other guy to do it from first round out to the winning is Kevin Pritchard back in the Aloha Classic. as far as I remember. Y2K.
I
was
think
that
also,
Y2K?
I think Polarcar 1 year in Silt did like a pretty amazing walkthrough, but that could be like 10, 15 years ago.
I'll have to take your word for that. But at the moment, John Sky looking for the double. We both looked at the screen
pretty
at the
much
same
just
time.
see him chasing that double forward somewhere out
He's
there.
getting a bit of speed.
Yeah, and I was just looking at the weather forecast. Wind Guru, it's still actually supposed to pick up around 3.
Yeah.
So probably going to get more wind and pretty much the same direction as we see now.
Yeah. So do you think he's riding this free wave different than he would ride the waveboard? You know, not throwing it in so hard, maybe steering it in and then pushing.
Exactly. What I think we saw that just before. Like he was probably initiating the first turn a little bit too hard on that freeway board, and that is where you really need to be careful.
That's where you need rocker.
Yeah, you can't just bury that rail and just rely on the board turning. You've really got to set it up and keep your weight a little bit on the tail and just like
So you sort of steer it in, and then as soon as you get to a point, you can push.
Yeah.
And then that's when you'll see it accelerate up the top. But the initial from going straight into the turn, you need to take it a little bit easier.
And I mean, in onshore conditions like this, you can pretty much just bang out that cutback as much as you want. We're just getting some information here. So we see John Sky in the dying minute here, still really trying to find that double forward, I think. But and he's obviously lacking a high scoring jump. So I'd have to say, looking at the two guys at their different tactics, Skyboy's tactic didn't really work out well compared to Victor's, who was really working on the jumps in the beginning, because Skyboy is lacking like a high scoring jump. It's fair to say, yeah.
Yeah, this is a big wave though, maybe, but I think he's pretty safely in the lead. We do have some massive news, and when I say massive, I'm talking there's going to be a few upset people out there, and there's going to be a few happy French people out there.
Okay.
Alessio Stilrich, Jules Denel. Mm-hmm. There was a little bit of a glitch in the matrix in the scoring system.
Okay.
They've looked at the scoring. They finished dead level. It was exactly level. So what happens is when they're dead level, they go back to the highest wave score. And guess who had the highest wave score?
Jules
Denel. So Alessio Stilrich, he's not going to be a happy little bunny. That's probably the worst thing that can ever happen to you in competition. You get told you're through, you're like, oh, relief, and he's had a hard year, and then there's nothing you can do about it, and that's it. On paper, he's out. So Alessio Stilrich doesn't make it through the first round. So that's actually massive news. And Jules Denel, so there'll be a few happy French people out there. Well, there'll be definitely a few happy French people. What do you think on the message board? Did you watch the heat? Is that what you're thinking? Bad news for Alessio Stilrich. I'm feeling for him right now. I actually feel really bad inside. I don't know why, because I had that before. Someone tells you you're through and it's all good, and then suddenly it all goes wrong. And it's not like they're going to have a resale. It was just the points were added up on the computer and it went to tune. I'm not sure why, because I'm about to get scored.
There's 3 heats, huh?
Yeah, I'm going. All right, mate. Have a good one. See you in a bit.
Staying here. You have the live chat and everything going here for me? Yes, everything is good. Thank you. If you see any... Ben... So 5 minutes and 40 seconds left of this heat with Thomas Traversa sailing against Omar Sanchez. And at the moment, I mean, Sanchez back in the lead, actually. He's leading on the waves, and he's not that far behind on the waves. So Thomas Traversa, last year's winner, has definitely got to step it up if he wants to be part of this competition for the coming rounds. Interesting, and I have to give it to Ben. He was calling this one, saying this could be interesting. There could be something going on here with the heat, and I think there is, go Ben on your heat. Exactly, we can't hold him back here. He's not. We can't have him sitting here. We need to get Ben out there and get prepared. Omar Sanchez with a nice backside air there, almost falling off the wave, but Thomas Traversa, massive tweak forward. So the heat is definitely not over. There's still 4.5 minutes to go, and these guys are. I think Thomas Traversa. It looks like he was looking back on the beach. I think he knows that that he's gonna have to step it up. Actually, as we speak, he's in the lead again with 24.63 points. So Omar Sanchez, he needs to improve on his waves now. The scores have changed. Before, Omar Sanchez was even leading in the waves, but now he has to step it up with the waves. But obviously, taking on last year's winner, Omar Sanchez, is a bit of an assignment to take out Thomas Traversa, and at the moment it's not happening. But it is really, really close. I mean, we're not even 2 points apart. So anything could happen with this heat. I mean, imagine Thomas Traversa going out in this position to a fairly newcomer Omar Sanchez from the Canaries. It'd be a bit of an upset. So I just heard Roberto Hoffman saying last wave, but that's not really true because we have like a little bit more than 3 minutes to go before this heat is over. And let's just have a look here. Who do you have in the next heat? Well, actually, there's a bit of an upset because we thought that Alessio Stilrich had taken out Jules Denel, but they had exactly the same amount of points, so they had to look at who had the highest wave score, and that was Jules Denel. So Jules Denel moving on here, and he's going to be sailing against Ricardo Campello. So that's also going to be a pretty interesting heat, I think, to watch. I'm not even sure if they've got that. Yeah, they've got that. I think they have that update already. Yeah. But they had Alessio as the winner to begin with. And there we had a really, really nice back loop from Omar. And I'm just gonna have a look here and see if would he need that, or is that doesn't that really matter for him? I could be slightly better than the 6.0 back loop that he actually has. So maybe he's able to improve his scores a little bit with that jump. But otherwise, I think he needs to concentrate in the last 2 minutes. He needs to really concentrate on his wave rides.
So the next heat on the water will be Jules Denel against Ricardo Campello. Denel against Campello. It's going to be the next heat.
Yes, so as you might have heard, the next heat is going to be Jules Denel against Campello. Jules Denel, obviously French madman, going absolutely crazy at the moment on the tour. Not really new, but still fairly new to the tour. And this year he changed his sponsors. Oh, Omar Sanchez. Backside 360 there, but he just missed it. As I said, Jules Denel changing to JP's new product for this season, and he seems to be happy with his gear. So dying minute here for this heat. What needs to happen? What needs to happen is that if Omar wants to take the lead, he's going to have to step it up. He's he's less than 1 point behind, but I mean, as it is a dying seconds here, we've got 45 seconds left. Ooh, I don't see that actually happening, I have to say. At the moment, what's it? Well, he needs wave rides, so he's doing the right thing here. He's tacking on that wave, and with a bit of luck, it could be lining up. Nah, it's too far down on the point. If he took that, he would be ending up on the bunker. But here we go. He's gonna have to go for broke on this one. Nice frontside hit there, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to give him the lead of this heat. So Omar Sanchez probably out. Oh, Thomas Traversa improving on his wave scores here, and that's going to be. And obviously 2 minute transition time for Denel versus Ricardo Campello. I'm going to be back with you guys in about 1 second here. I just need to drop my headset for a minute, so be back quick, eh? All right, so back with you guys again, and sorry for the short interruption here. Anyone hitting? Yes, so at the moment we've got the heat going, and I think we need to change the angle of the camera's voice, so we can we get the following cams instead of this instead of the steady cam here. So here we go. Ricardo Campello heading out, obviously attacking actually. Usually he goes for the massive jump on the first one, but Jules Denel passing him with high speeds, and Campello actually looking back, seeing what's he doing. So yeah, Heat is running now, and Campello going in, probably setting up for a wave. I think the live scoring is still it's still on Heat 10, so you guys are gonna have to bear with us here as we just get that sorted out. So in a minute we're gonna have Thomas Traversa for a quick update on his heat, and obviously he won that, so he's gonna be a happy chap down there. But until then, there we go. I'm gonna leave you to him.
I'm standing here on the beach with Thomas Traversa from France. Thomas, you just got back in from your heat. How was the conditions?
It's really hard now. Like the wind turned more onshore, and the swell is really messy, so it's really hard to find the right waves. I don't know. I did what I could. It's not easy, but well, I did what I could.
Are you happy with the conditions?
Yeah, I mean it could be worse. At least there's some wind and some waves. It's difficult, but there's something. So I'm not gonna say I'm happy, because this is not what we dream of, but it's okay. Could be worse.
At least we're on the water again.
Yeah.
So thanks for your comments, Thomas, and back to you guys in the booth.
Yeah, so Thomas telling us here that he thought the conditions were quite challenging and difficult, but
could it be a previous wave? Because obviously, pulling a wave 360 should give him. That was a pretty good section he pulled around too. Actually,
I think that's got to be another score that you guys saw there, because yeah. But as we said, we have lagging some information from the judging section at the moment. It's not like they're not judging, it's just there's some communication between the live scoring and the judges at the moment. They've got a pretty new system working there. They've got iPads and stuff like that. It's technical stuff going on.
Definitely. I mean, like, it's all, with the purpose of making it more entertaining to watch a windsurfing contest. Obviously, the bulletproof system is to just note it down on what is a fist pump? We'll just get back to what that one, Dennis Nielsen. The thing about the judges and the scoring is that obviously noting it on paper is more bulletproof, because it takes a piece of paper and a pen. But what we would like to do, and what we've been pushing for here in Klitmoller, is to make it more entertaining to watch the contest. And it's one of the things that we've been advocating for actually since the beginning of the event here, since we first held it in 2010. And it's so much more entertaining if you can actually see what the guys are scoring immediately or very soon after they have done the move. And in surfing, it's been happening for quite a few years now, and it is a little bit easier in surfing in the sense that they don't pick up waves as fast as the windsurfers do. But I think it's a definite, huge improvement to have live scoring on the Windsurfing World Tour.
This was actually the first place to have it,
We were the first ones to introduce that together with the PWA, yeah.
So this event was the first event to have the live scoring together with the live streaming.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. So at the moment, Mussolini in a lead, not a massive lead. Lampis actually, he's doing quite well. He's racking up points here, sitting in second position. But as we spoke about, Martin Tenhoven, not a guy to mistake about.
No, you definitely don't want to count Martin out. He's a surprise sailor. Sometimes I think that he has a little bit of trouble, getting everything to work out in his heats.
Yeah.
But whenever I see Martin sail, he constantly impresses me. He does, pretty much the full program there. He does upwind 360s, he does takas. I believe he does wave 360s as well.
Yeah, he does. He has all the moves.
He's a very solid sailor.
So after this heat, we're going to have Leon Jamar sailing against Klaas Fouquet, two guys who are also really, really, really well known on this sailing venue and this reef. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. It's also we had a pretty big forward there from Alex. It's like the new guard against the older dog on the German windsurfing scene. Klaas being around for quite a few years, and Leon not new but newer.
Yeah, that's true. Leon and Klaas, both of them come to Klitmoller a lot. I sail with them quite often up in Henstorm and also out here on the reef in Klitmoller, and they're both very inspiring sailors to watch. Klaas, obviously, he's been a tour regular for a lot of years, and Leon is more like not the new kid on the block, because Leon has also been doing it for a few seasons now, but he is definitely he's younger than Klaas, obviously.
Exactly.
And both of them are great sailors. I think that's going to be a great heat coming up. Back to Dennis's the fist pump. The fist pump is just like when pull off like an insane move and you just go like, yeah, that's the fist pump, man.
Okay. Well, thanks for clarifying that. So at the moment the watch has gone, and that's because we had that little misfunction with the internet, but I'm sure it's going to be back on any second here, so you guys can and we can follow the time, because we don't have the time anywhere else.
No, down in here in this room, you're like in your own world, I guess.
I call it the bunker. There could be a nuclear disaster outside. I wouldn't notice. So yes, obviously still in the lead is Alex Mussolini, from Spain, living in Tenerife. He was on the Ocean Academy on Maui. That's actually how he got his education, which is interesting in terms of looking at that new education coming up here in Klitmoller.
Yeah, that's true. I remember one of the first times I saw Alex on the water was in Hukipa, and I was sitting with a friend of mine, Eric Trostheider, who used to be on the world tour as well, and he said to me, "Look at this guy out there." And Alex was about 14 at that time, I think, and he was going for like one-handed aerials and things like that in Hukipa. And Alex has an amazing level. He's had a very high level for a lot of years, and obviously he keeps improving. So I think he's going to make it quite far. Especially his wave riding is very impressive. So that's good. How are we looking with the scores from that last heat, Mikkel? Did Berlanti take it?
We didn't know. Alex took that one, I'm pretty sure, but I think we have experienced a few technical problems, and that's how we are going for the short break.
Okay, so we'll take a 2-minute break and we'll get the Alex
took that one, I'm pretty sure, but I think we have experienced So green flag for Leon Jamar and Klaas Fouquet, and we see Klaas heading out trying to get that first jump. And at the moment we can't see Leon, but I'm sure he's also on the way out trying to look for that first jump. So Klaas could have there's a ramp right there. I'm sure he's going to use that one to get. No, he's actually turning on it to get that first wave ride in.
He knows that those waves are going to be so important. It's probably easier on a day like today. It's probably easier to get a good jump than to get a really good wave.
But that being said, Leon Jamar there, he just had a pretty massive one-handed back loop. Ooh, Klaus with a backside 360 and still on the wave.
Mm-hmm.
So good action from the first minute here, and obviously these two guys are super keen on going forward to the next round in this competition. And as we said, both Germans, there's probably a bit of a national competition going on as well here.
Yeah, probably a little bit of rivalry. They're both actually, I believe, both of them from Kiel, I believe, or near Kiel. I think Klaas is from, not originally from Kiel, but he's lived in Kiel for quite a few years.
I think so. They're both from sort of the same region.
Yeah, and both riders on Fnatic, and obviously it'll be, good for them to be the best Fnatic rider in the event. It always feels nice to be that.
You always want to be the best on the team.
Yeah, that's, obviously Fnatic has a great team of guys. Victor's, I believe he's still in there, so it's not an easy job to be the best Fnatic rider on the.
Obviously, Victor sitting pretty hard on that crown on the Fnatic team as their number one team rider. But new guys coming up, and Leon Jamar definitely one of them. And Klaas been on Fnatic for as long as I can remember, actually. Probably, I can't remember him not being on Fnatic.
Actually, I was talking to him about it the other day, and I believe he said he has been on Fnatic for like 15 years or something like that. So he's been on it for, almost his whole professional career, I believe.
Okay, so Jens is on the beach, and he's got an interview with one of the guys who just came out of the water. So as soon as they appear on the screen down in the left corner, we're gonna leave you guys with that interview, and there we go.
I'm standing here on the beach with Alex Mussolini. Alex, you just got in from your heat. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, for the first time in a long time. I had a really good heat. I got 2 good jumps, and I was focusing on my wave riding, and finally I got a good wave 360, and that was sick.
Yeah, I saw that wave, and it looked really, really nice, and you actually claimed it on your way, and you must have been happy.
Yeah, I like to claim it, so maybe the judges are like, okay, he's happy, so maybe we're going to put him a bigger score. So I don't know, I'm super happy. I think I'm in quarterfinals, and this was my objective, and from now on it's just having fun and try to rip.
Let's hope we see you advance even further, Alex. Thanks for now.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
That one.
It was, he could have just had that sail about maybe 10 centimeters further up, and he would have been flying down that wave. So we have Ben lining up for a wave. That could actually turn out to be a pretty good wave, I would say. Just don't go too far to the left. Here we go, Ben. I think he's pretty keen on. Oh, he's gonna go for the
goiter.
Goiter.
Goiter himself.
Oh,
that was close. Very good effort.
Did you see? He actually had one the other day out here.
Oh yeah.
He had 2 pretty decent ones. Yeah. So cool. Ben Prophet.
Well, it's not all over yet.
It's definitely not all over, and Ben is like trying to. He's definitely giving Costa a run for the money. Yeah.
For sure.
It's like trying all the same moves and stuff like that, and he's capable of doing them. So Philip, sitting out the back, just waiting for a proper wave. I did say earlier on that I didn't find that tactic to be really working, but I think also the wind increased a bit now, so you'll be able to accelerate on the wind down the waves. What we were talking about, like, if you stop, the waves were not fast enough to really give you the speed to turn of them, so you kind of have to come in on speed. But I think it's windy enough now that you can sort of stand still and then accelerate down the wave.
Yeah,
from the wind.
It's so crucial though to pick up the right type of wave. You have those waves where you just have like a little ball that that you can do one turn on, and then you have the sections that kind of like start off out the back, and then Thomas Traversa is really good at picking those up. Yeah. It's amazing. Every time I see him on a wave, he finds that one that links to the inside. Alex had like 1 or 2 in the previous heat as well, but especially Thomas, it seems like he knows he knows the waves here very, very well, and he always manages to find, waves. I watched him in a heat. He had like 5 or 6 good turns on a wave, which is really, really
Profit
good.
here, lining up for a little bit of a smack. Need to get back on that wave.
Yeah, he was lacking a bit of speed for that turn.
Yeah.
The thing about, turns, they just don't look very good if you're not carrying a lot of speed through them.
That's it. Speed is the key word to get your turns to look radical.
So we have about a half a minute left here of this heat, and we'll see if Costa manages to pick up a wave just before the end here. And now
here we go. He's probably going to go for that 360 again. It looks like it. No, yeah. Well, is that the third one that he's trying?
Third or second, yeah. I think
third or second, and not making it. Just as we said before, goes to show how difficult that move is in these conditions. I mean, it's really, really difficult, and we've only seen one 360 so far. So here we go. Ben heading out, might be a little bit of a ramp there. No, he decides to turn. Obviously, he knows there's like 4 seconds left. All he can do is start wave riding, and that wave would have been counting, but now he's off it, so he's just have to go back ashore.
He probably knows that he hasn't done enough to secure himself.
So what do we have here?
Next round.
Counting for Costa, we've got a 9.88 double forward, a 7.5 back loop, a 6.5 wave, and an 8.25 wave. I mean, the 8.25 wave is all the way up there. That's like probably one of the highest scoring waves we've seen, and the 9.88. But apart from that, I mean, a 6.5 wave we've seen heaps of. I mean, I've got Fogert here with a 6.6. I've got Germar in the earlier heat with a 7.6. So not all his scores are like completely nuts.
No, I mean, you can't expect, even though that Philip is probably, the guy at the moment. I wouldn't say that he's the world's best windsurfer in all conditions, but the conditions we have on tour, he is the world's best windsurfer. He's proved that 2 years in a row now. But having said that, you can't expect him to have, perfect tens in every heat. It also depends on the type of conditions. And the conditions we have here today are, super interesting because there's a little bit of luck involved as well. You can't expect to have a 3-meter wave coming towards you every time you go out. You have to time it, and sometimes you're just not in tune with it.
So Jens has caught up with Philip Koster on the beach, just out of the water from his heat, and I'm going to leave you guys to him, eh? So good luck.
I'm standing on the beach with Philip Koster. You just got back in from your heat, and looks like you won. You looked really good when you were sailing out there. How was the conditions?
So the conditions were a bit tricky, but I managed to get some good waves and some jumps, so I'm pretty much stoked. Like in the beginning I got my biggest jumps, and then I was just focusing on wave rides, and all worked out.
It really looked like you had some amazing tricks out there. I saw you crash a couple of wave 360. Was it a bit tricky?
Yeah, I crashed some wave 360s, but it's kind of hard. You never know when the wave will break, and it's so hard to get the right timing, but I got something.
You look happy at least. Well, good luck from now on, and I'll see you later.
Right, thank you.
So next heat up here, Victor Fernandez sailing against Marcelo Brown, Brasinho, and that heat opened up in a double rotation inferno.
Yeah. As we could see, there were just two pretty much perfect doubles from both guys. Both of the guys are obviously super keen to make it into the top 3. Victor, I'm sure he's got his eyes on that world title again. He already had it once, and he was second, I think, once or twice. Brasinho has never really made it into the top 2 spots. He's definitely a world-class sailor that could do it, and it will be interesting to see how this heat pans out.
I agree. I mean, one thing that's kind of interesting is that Victor, he's still on his freestyle wakeboard, or his free wave actually, as the board model is called, and we saw Robbie Swift also choosing to sail on a free wakeboard in these conditions. Maybe not turning wise on the waves, not the best boat, but actually you see Victor coming ashore here. I'm sure he's going to change to his wakeboard. So just speaking about that, I'm pretty sure he's he decided that the wind was so strong now that it wasn't an advantage to be on a freestyle wakeboard.
No, the thing about those freestyle wakeboards is that the rocker line is faster, meaning that they will get going quicker. They will have more speed throughout the turns. Throughout the bottom turn, they'll have higher jumps, likely because they have more lift off the bottom of that board. And you would just see Brasinho going for a super tweaked backside air there, very nicely won.
Really, really radical. And at the moment, Victor is leading, but it was funny, they actually had exactly the same scores on their doubles, 9.5. So yeah, Victor changing to his quad board there. So as I said, obviously he thought
that he's a good section. We're going to see a nice jump from Victor.
We're going to see a massive jump now. I think he might be a little bit late, but no, it's going to be a good baggy there. No, actually, you know what? It's nearly the same as what happened to Brasinho just before. Huh? Just slightly under-rotating that stuff. Huh?
Slightly under-rotating that one. Still sails away from it. They will still give him, decent points, but he'll definitely not be super happy about that jump. No. He'll be wanting to improve on that. Maybe he's going to get the opportunity just now. No, it's going to back off.
But there's still Brasinho in the lead, but obviously he has a 4.0 wave ride that's counting, which is why, because his jumps, Victor is actually leading on the jumps, but has 0 wave scores. So as soon as Victor's got as soon as Brasinho's got a wave, that's going to change probably. That's not true. What am I saying? Victor's leading. And Victor doesn't have a wave. So Victor's leading.
Okay.
Victor's leading.
All right.
Wave or no wave.
But Brasinho going out here, and sure, he's going downwind here. He's got his eyes on that section there for a back loop, I think. One-footed one.
One-footed, and he's pretty much stomps that one, huh?
Yeah, that was a good landing. For one-footed back loop, I would say that's a pretty good landing.
So probably Marsilio, he's going to increase that jump score. He's only got a back loop that's counting 1.75, which is like a crash. So he's going to increase that score pretty significantly. And actually, I think he's going to go into the lead now because he's got that wave ride counting. So probably in a few seconds, we'll see the score changing and Brasilio coming into the lead.
So here we have Ben just stepping into the commentating booth here.
Stepping into the arena.
Take him ahead of Robbie Swift. We're still waiting for that score to drop. It should be any second now. Robbie Swift's got 2 minutes 45 to answer back. And he can improve on his wave scores quite heavily. He can probably improve on that back loop as well. Yeah. Still waiting for that score to drop. They're obviously calculating it at the moment. It should be any second now.
Ooh, Traversa hitting out here. That is... No, it's
not. You're going to see another table. It's no lip on it. That's the problem when you're wave riding.
Yeah.
You can just not find it. You start bottom turning and you just know, oh dear. And then because of the tide ripping down, you end up really close down the reef and then you're too far down. It's a real, real mind games out there is going on.
It's technical.
Very, very technical. So we're still waiting for that score to drop. At the moment, it's Robbie Swift leading, but Thomas Traversa has a big wave score to drop.
Yeah, it's going to be around any time, huh?
What you calling? 7.5, 8?
Well,
maybe not 8. No, he really hit it. You're right, actually. Maybe
sections.
A 7.
It was just cruising, but it was a lot of nice turns, but he wasn't really hitting the section, huh?
That is a good point you're making there.
It's not like a massive spray all over.
No, there was a long ride and it worked. And then you think, is that better than some real tech tricks? Is that better than smacking the lip, honestly, where there's a lot more to lose?
I'd any day rather see pretty much one big massive hack than 10.
Yeah, but when you're judging,
yeah,
it's very difficult when you've got a long wave like that and you're watching all these turns. But then, was he pushing a limit? Did he have a chance of falling off there? I don't think he did. It was pretty much all within himself. Yeah. But it was a long wave, and it's hard to pick waves like that. I mean, those discussions can go on forever, but it is going to come down to what the judges want to give him.
I don't think we're going to see much over 7.5 for that wave.
Okay. Maybe even a 7. I think probably that's what is going on at the moment. Waiting for that score to drop still. So taking a while. Robbie Swift still with some work to do maybe. Robbie Swift, can he improve on that back loop? One-handed back loop. Very nice landing.
Solid landing there.
Will that improve on a 6.12? If it does, that will make a difference what Thomas Traversa gets for this wave. This is going to come right down to the wire. We still not had that wave score drop. What is going on?
Jesus, you're winding me all up here.
This is ridiculous. So Swift coming back with that back loop, one-handed back loop. We wait for that to drop. Is that 6.5? Is it a 7?
We're missing scores here. We need to see those scores.
Come on.
What
we
is
need
the score for that way, right? There we go, 7.62. So leading, yeah, that was it, huh?
Well, it doesn't know because that one-handed back loop from Swift could change things back around.
And it's not in the, wasn't that the 6.62 back that's counting now?
Yes, it is the 6.62 back. Okay, so, oh no, with 2 seconds go, Thomas Traversa has stole it from Robbie Swift.
Robbie Swift right there in the end.
So 7.62 for that long wave. That just goes to show if you can pick those big ones up at the back and work them to the beach. Look at the tweak on that shove it. So good work from today for Thomas Traversa. He moves into the top 4. He's going to join, who's he going to join? He's going to join Marsilio Brown. So he joins Marsilio Brown in the top 4. How is that? Ridiculous. Multi-million-dollar F1 is on TV and is so boring compared to windsurfing World Cup.
Yes.
Andreas Ebbe, yes. I'm with you there. Just reading one of the tweets from 4 minutes ago. Sorry, just catching up on a few things here. But it is Thomas Traversa. He left it till that last wave.
So Traversa is going to go up against Marsilio Brown, huh? But first we have Denel against Mussolini, and then we have the Jamar against Costa.
Oh, and apparently we've got Andy Bubble Chambers who's saying it's his missus' birthday. So Philly's birthday. Happy birthday, Philly. To you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Philly, happy birthday to you. There we go. Right, back to the windsurfing action. What is going on? Jules Dinal versus Leon Jammer, did you say? If I just got that wrong. No, Leon's against
Mussolini.
Costa. Mussolini
against Mussolini and Jamar against Costa.
I'll tell you what, how was Mussolini's heat earlier? That must have been a big scoring heat.
It was.
Yeah, I saw him get some sick waves, like at least 8.
He had that 360.
Okay.
Mess. And, just lining up for that, I was going to Robert, he's going to make a 360. And you could just see, like, I was just drawing the curves, like, and it's going to be there. And he flew out of it.
I'll tell you what, it's a nice feeling when you bottom turn, you see that lip, and you're thinking, you know.
Yeah,
halfway around, you already know you're going to hit that thing. So I
think this is pretty much it. The heat is on, huh? We're missing the time, but I'm pretty sure.
I got the time. We're 10 seconds in. This is Jules Dinal. Neil Pride, JP, already took down his teammate, his high-ranked teammate, Ricardo Campello. So Jules Dinal, he got away with dodged a bit of a bullet in the first round. Alessio Stilrich took him to the wire. They were level, dead level.
They were.
And the only reason they got split is because Jules had a higher wave score. So Alessio Stilrich obviously not happy, but I tell you, I've said it before. He's a name. Keep your eyes peeled. He will break through one day. He's having a tough go of it at the moment because he's getting some bad draws.
In a few seconds, we're going to have. There we go. We've got Thomas Traversa.
So I'm here with Thomas Traversa, who just got in from his quarterfinal heat. You won the heat, Traversa, and how was the conditions on it?
I won?
You won it, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, the wind is better now. We went a bit up after the rain. It's a bit more onshore, but also the waves are much bigger than when we started. So yeah, I kind of like it. When it's like this, it's a bit different game. You have to choose a good wave, and yeah, I had some really good waves, I think, so I'm happy.
You're the defending champion. How do you rate your chance for the rest of the event?
I don't know. I'm just trying to sail the same way like I did last year when I won in the single elimination. It's kind of the same conditions also. So I will just keep on doing the same. I think now I'll go against Brosinho probably. It's going to be hard because he's really, really good. But I have a chance, I think. I did it once, so let's see.
Yeah, Brosinho up next. Thanks for your comment, Thomas. And I hope to see you later. Bye-bye.
Thomas Traversa.
Happy
Frenchman.
Big smile on his face. Yes. He's got good memories from here in Cold Hawaii. This Kia Cold Hawaii World Cup has done him a lot of good in the past.
Obviously, last year he won, huh?
Yeah, exactly. The last year's winner. So Thomas Traversa still in it. That was Jules Dinal.
Massive back loop there, sticking it pretty neatly.
Crazy Frenchman. That's what we want to see. He wants some doubles. And like Thomas was saying, pretty much what I was saying, that wind's, the rain's gone and it's cleaned up the wind a lot more, but we've swung a little bit more onshore now. But we're still seeing the stunts going down, and we're still seeing some hell wave rides. And one guy that can get some hell wave rides, Alex Mussolini. We haven't seen much of him so far, but we'll be waiting. And he'll want that 360. Is it going to cost him? Is this the place to be going for 360s all the time?
Well, we saw Klaus Vogt spending, I think, too much energy on that move. He missed like 3, and yeah, as we spoke about, you're out of the wave with that move. That's
it. Just takes you out.
Yeah, you're out.
With
you're
a tacker, if you under rotate,
yeah,
you're still in.
You might actually make it back on the wave, but with that move, you're just you're in the water swimming after that. So I wouldn't spend too much energy on that move. If it's there if you see the right wave and you try and you go for it and you get it, then congratulations. But I wouldn't if you try like 2 or 3 and you don't make them, I'll stop.
Give up.
Trying, because it's difficult today. I mean, it's not really the condition.
I tell you what, if Mussolini's riding this inside bit, I think I'm going to bet he's done something pretty special already. Because you wouldn't see him widen this if he hadn't done much already.
He's going all the way.
Yeah, so he is. This is be a good scoring wave. I know we've not seen the beginning of it, but I have a feeling this could be a big scoring wave. He just slips around those things.
So Daniel with a 6.88 back loop at the moment scoring, and Mussolini with a few high-scoring jumps.
Oh, wants to double really through that. That was head first into the mast. Let's hope he's okay. Let's quickly check, because you never know.
He's swimming though, so he looks all right.
Oh, that would look nasty. He really tried to force that thing.
He's water starting, so I think he's all right. Fuck off.
Yeah.
That's like what you do not. And that rotation is also pretty end over.
Yeah, that was.
I've seen him I've seen plenty of doubles from him. They are a bit end over.
Yeah.
He
has some really good ones. I was saying, he has some really good ones, some pretty sideways ones. But when you're trying to force it in a competition, like I said, you take off a different ramp. You don't have the right. .coldaway.eu. Click on the live page, and you will get onto watching the live streaming. And there's a message board on the right-hand side. Looks like there's a few guys watching at the moment, so we do have a fair few people. Maybe I should get this.
How do you reckon he racks up those points in his head? I mean, he's pretty much sitting within 1 point when he stops making more. Yes, last heat was 32 point something. Now it's 31 point something.
I think he knows when he's done a good double. He obviously tries to do plain double since, so he tries to step up his scores, which obviously means there's more chance of him crashing. His solid scores to get over 30 are kind of easy for him. That's what it seems like. He seems like getting over 30 he can do in 5 minutes. And then he spends the rest of the heat trying to, outdo the scores. He wants the goiter. He can find the limit. Frontside 360, almost Weimaru style. He just gets so much pop towards the front of the wave. It's so hard to do, but he does seem to manage it. Not the best wave, not the best connection, but just flies round.
Terrible wave, I would say.
Horrible. How does he do that? And then you can see him do a little spinning around tacker now. Very easy for him. It's not a massive move, but it just finishes the wave off. It looks
like those tackers, you could say they're not super radical, but they do rack up points, and it seems like he's just doing them whatever.
Yeah, but rather than a turn, you do a little tacker, and they do score. Just help that extra couple of points, or not points, but point of a point.
So he'd done, unfortunately for Leon Jamar, not really a threat for Philip Costa this time.
He was struggling for the waves, if anything, and I know his problem. That's right.
And he did have to go ashore to change something with his gear.
Yeah, I think he's coming in. That's what I did exactly the same thing after Costa. He just sailed down to the 10.
Was blasting down to the 10, knowing that was it.
Oh God, I got a sore ankle.
Well, thank you for the information.
Okay, so what we're doing now, we're going to go.
So as I can see, we're actually getting I can see the camera guy on the beach talking to Philip. So I think we're going to get a little interview with him. Yes, we're going to have Philip Costa on a small interview any second here. So, yeah, you guys just hang on here. Oh.
Just a second. Thank you, the beach with Philip Costa once again. Just got out of the water literally a few seconds ago. Your last wave looked really nice. Tell me about it.
The last wave was a bit weird. The 360, my foot came out, my back foot. I was struggling and was close, but made it somehow. And then I think in the beginning I had a good double and also a small back loop, but still stuck. I don't know if I made it, but I think I had a good heat.
You made it look really good there, and you did make it onto the semi-final. Congratulations. Are you feeling confident for the rest of the win? Are you feeling confident for the semi-final?
I feel comfortable and confident, but you never know who I get. But it's pretty hard, and I'm sure at this stage everyone says it's perfect, and it will be hard for sure.
Thanks for the words, Philip Köster, and good luck. See you later.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
So, Philip.
There you go. That's straight from the horse's mouth, and he is pretty much a horse, isn't he? He's massive.
I think he needs a bit more pizza.
I tell you what, the doublers in this last final four, Marsilio Brown and Philip Costa. Mussolini and Traversa not really known for their doubles.
Interesting, huh? Like
It's going to be
two guys that are stopping doubles and two other guys.
You know, Ricardo Campello, you've used to seeing him here. He went out at 9th place. Victor Fernandez, you've seen him at 5th place. So it's going to be interesting how this works out. But we've got the boys are obviously sailing pretty good.
Actually, the biggest change in the top four is Marsilio Brown, huh? You'd have to say. Like, well, something like that.
He's looked good today, though, Brisinho. You know, there would be some good, you know, making that top thing, but Thomas Traversa, I would never count this lad out. He is, and he is getting trawled.
Wrecked down to the reef.
Downwind.
And he knew he had to go back out, huh?
And that will ruffle you up a bit. You know, that doesn't start the heat with confidence. You know, you start with a double like we've seen before. He's there, confident, he's happy, he's got something in the bag. Now he started with basically getting thinking, oh, well, we're a minute and a half in, and we've not seen much action. We saw that long wave earlier, scoring him good points. Will he get anything out of this? Oh, that's one.
You kind of saw that one coming, huh?
Yeah. Don't mess with the white water.
Perfect practicing conditions. So, any interesting questions here online?
King of Stream.
No, Finn. It's Finn.
Finn.
That's Finn.
Okay.
His last name is.
He's not here today, is he?
No, he had to go and do some work with the.
Marsilio Brown has spent most of the heat in the water.
Well, first 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's maybe going more onshore. We have seen a forecast to go more onshore, and that's when it's going to get very technical and jumps. Traversa still holding on to that thing. That's mad. That will score good. So Thomas Traversa putting it big 1 foot in back.
But I'll tell you what, I've actually been and the direction, it's 3 degrees more onshore. It's still directly west. Last time I checked, it was 259 degrees, and now it's 262. So not really that much of a change. But the wind is
very interesting. But we're going to go.
No, it's not. But it's not really much. Nah, it's not that much of a change.
We've got a question on the Yen says, does Alex and Thomas do doubles? Yes, they do doubles. Thomas actually does some pretty scary, crazy doubles, but he usually needs a. And Alex will see do doubles, but not his. So that whitewater is getting bigger.
They probably should start.
first waves coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, could be it.
So that might not have gone more onshore like you. Well, we're hello.
because I really could tell on his face that you were surprised.
Man, I was. I don't know what to say. I can't really believe it. Philip's such a machine. I have so much respect for his sailing. He's been dominating so hard, and for me to get a chance to win here, it's unbelievable. I kind of had a hard time, but I just figured the conditions were really hard, so maybe lucky me if it was too, and I just tried to squeeze whatever points I could, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, Philip, great sailing too. I know the final was not your best heat, but still congratulations. And then let's not forget, Philip is the overall at the moment in 2013. He won Tenerife, he's second here, so he is very consistent as always.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to be in second place. Still, like I wanted to win the heat, but I think Brasilio did it very good. But yeah, I'm stoked for him, but still, I'm not the happiest person right now. But still, it's like it's great. It's great to be on the podium, and it's great in Klitmoller.
That's honest, Philip. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's right. And yeah, so Alex, congratulations again. You're on the podium. It's good.
Yeah, and actually I'm really happy to be in the podium, but I'm really happy for Brasilio. I am like super stoked for him. First win ever, and it's great. And it's new generation now, and it's great.
Yeah, because we have to say about Brasilio, the guy has been around for many years. He had many ups and downs. Sometimes it was really hard, and I think it's good to see you on the podium in first place, Brasilio. And obviously, Philip, we know that he has done the highest scoring day of the heat, the highest scoring heat of the day, and we know that he is definitely the challenger for the 2013 Wave Champion title again. Okay, so thank you so much to all the spectators for coming. And I'm sure that Robert still wants to say a word, because next year I'm sure we'll be back here, Robert.
Yeah, I hope that we're going to be back here in Klitmoller in cold Hawaii. I'm pretty sure we're going to have an event here next year. And these fantastic athletes will be with us again. Before we finish off, I just want to give the microphone to Hugo, the event manager from the PWA here. I know the PWA, you know, they go around to events all over the world, and the event here has really become something special for the PWA guys as well. And Hugo asked me to say that he could say a couple of words just before we finish off the event here. Thanks.
Thanks, Robert. Hi, everyone. I won't be long, but I just wanted to say a couple of words on behalf of the PWA. Really just to sort of thank a few people who wouldn't necessarily be mentioned, but it's been a long week of waiting, and obviously the conditions today were epic. And once again, Klitmoller showed us that it's been one of the best spots in the world for windsurfing, and certainly in Europe and also the world. We all know how incredible the windsurfing can be here. The last 3 years have been testament to this, and now the event has truly become one of the favourite stops on the tour for all the competitors. But it's not just the windsurfing that makes this place what it is. It's the people. You can have the best conditions, the best competitors, the best equipment, but it comes down to all the guys behind the scenes that make the best things happen. All the volunteers and helpers really have been amazing. Every day you've been greeted by smiling, happy faces, provided amazing food, and generally encouraged to feel part of the community here in Klitmoller. So on behalf of the PWA, I just wanted to give a huge thank you to all the team and volunteers that have been tirelessly working away all week to keep us fed, watered, and entertained. So thanks everyone involved in the event, the surf club, the volunteers, the water crew, the helpers, the local windsurfers, the locals, the airport drivers and the boathouse crew, and all the guys making the food and everyone behind the scenes. Really, let's just have a big round of applause to show our appreciation. And here's to many more years in cold Hawaii. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Hugo. I won't keep you here for much longer. Usually we do like this family photo here at the end of the event. It's been a very long day for everybody involved. It's been a very long week, actually, for everybody involved. So please, the volunteers, all the guys, the crew that helps to make this event happen, could you all please come up here? Okay. The event photographer would just like to get one shot before we do that. Okay, thanks, guys. You can stay where you are. Just one more moment. Everybody, all the volunteers, everybody who makes this event happen, please come up here to the stage. We want to get a photo of everybody involved to make this happen. Don't be shy. Come on, guys.
Wow, what a shocker, huh?
How's that? Marsilio Brown taking home his first win on the Pedal Tour. That sticks him up into third overall for the rankings. Well, I think we pretty much got there, didn't we? He needed more than 8.5 for that double, and it's no surprise that he actually got more than 8.5.
No, we worked out that he had to get more points to that. But obviously, I think fantastic for Marsilio to be on the podium and even to be in the final and then winning the event. I mean,
Philip Costa, I think, said it all there. Well done, but he's pretty gutted right now. But that's just the way it is. A new winner on the Pedal Tour, and Cold Hawaii kicks up another upset from the form buck. Last year it was Thomas Traversa. This year, Marsilio Brown.
You think they're partying back home in Brazil?
I think they'll be cracking open a few beers or Cuba Libras or whatever they do over there. I don't know, but I suppose there's some very happy Brown family.
I'm sure there is.
They will be loving life, and what a cool trophy as well with the old bell. It's like Bell's Beach.
Watch out! Don't! If you ring it here in the bar,
you have to buy the round.
You have to buy the round.
I did that the other night, and someone looked at me, and I was like, "Oh no!" So how's that? I think the problem with Philip Costa in the final, we have to say, he was counting a 2.8 wave. And that forward off the lip, which he didn't really make, was one of his counting waves. I mean, that's just how ridiculous it got.
Oh. Someone's having champagne on the stage.
Oh, okay, so they're going to crack open the champagne. I imagine these boys are pretty nippy at the moment, but Marsilio Brown probably doesn't care
I think he's washing that bottle down.
Haven't down that. He hasn't probably drunk for a long time. He's been training hard for this moment. This has got to feel pretty good.
I feel really, really good for that guy. I mean, he was obviously surprised and super stoked.
He's put the work in. He's put the work in, and he's had a few results which maybe haven't gone his way. And it just goes to show you've got to be strong and you'll get there in the end. I mean, we could probably bring in Alessio Stilrich. He's not had another best of his events, but he's sailing really good. And you just got a message to him to just stay strong.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll be back up there, no problems. But it's all about this man at the moment.
Brassinho.
Marsilio Brown. Goya's going to be happy, Mr. Goya. Francisco Goya.
I'm pretty sure Lalo and Francisco is going to be super happy. And also, obviously, Keith DeBoos part shaping the boards. I think these guys are going to be really, really happy with this winner.
Well, they invested in him.
And that's what I mean.
They've invested him in, and he's coming with the goods at the moment. Like I said, there's talk about a Maui event. This could be Brassinho's year, so we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out, whether Maui does in fact happen. If it does, Marsilio Brown is a first. You never know what he's going to get in Maui. He's got a 6 from Tenerife. We've got Musso with 2/3. We've got Philip Costa with a 2nd and a 1st. That's pretty much. Victor slipping to 4th overall.
He's down in 4th at the moment, though.
You wouldn't have called that. Anybody. Bring us in. Bring us in. Let's see if we can get some boys in here. We're going to try and get some guys on the chair. Let's have a look. I'm going to move over and see if we can get some people in.
I think, we can probably... Sorry for that. We're just doing a little bit of rearranging here in the house.
Hopefully we're going to get some of the boys in here.
In the wet seat, obviously.
Yeah, well, the hot seat is the wet seat.
Today the hot seat is the wet seat.
So here we go. What do you think about that? Did anyone else call it? I think there was a few people calling it.
We kind of had it. Well, obviously we can't see anything else the scores that we see is the same scores that you guys see. So we were working that out ourselves pretty quickly. That's like, when we started thinking about that double that did come up, we were like, but how many points does he actually need for that one, huh?
Yeah. No,
to
for
be up
sure.
there.
I mean, it was a very good double from Philip Costa. Let's not forget that. But he got the points. He got over 10 points.
Yeah, but then looking at that wave score, that pretty low wave score with that forward coming in, we're like,
Yeah, that is where it all was lost, I would suppose. If Costa's going to look back at that heat, he's going to know where it was lost, and it was lost on the waves. And there's no doubt about it. So we're going to try and get somebody in the live stream. I imagine they'll be trying to get changed now. They're probably pretty cold. They're probably covered in champagne. So we'll probably have a while before we get anybody. It's usually like that in the live stream. We get left on their own. But if you have any questions for the boys Like I said, hopefully we're going to get them in here.
I hope we get Brasinho in here.
I mean, let's have a look back at this week. We started talking about it before. Sunday, last week, feels like years ago. But we had the Crown Prince rocking us. Here it looks like Brasinho's making his way to the live
stage.
stage.
Brasinho in here.
We're pretty much behind that stage.
Yeah, we're in the bunker. In the ghetto.
We're in the bunker. You can see him coming in through the door, so we should see him any second now. Let's give him a round of applause. And tell you what, there's some support out there, my son.
Yeah.
Crack on the earphones.
Congratulations. You
Thank
smell
you.
like champagne.
You smell good.
That's good, yeah.
How's that feel?
Man, I cannot believe it, to be honest. I didn't expect. I kind of felt like I was having a hard time at the heat, but I guess the conditions got really tough.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard to gauge because I had a good heat before, and in 1 hour, like, I couldn't really do anything. So at first I started getting really angry, and then I thought, like, you know what? Maybe he's also having a hard time.
Exactly.
Try to squeeze a 1 foot back loop, whatever you can do, and try a double. And who knows, you know, at least it worked. I don't know.
It was pretty much what we said would happen. You know, it's going to come down to who has got the mental toughness to realize that, okay, I'm having a bad heat, but let's not lose it because the other guy could be having just a shocker.
That's actually really what happened. I mean,
his best scoring wave was a 2.8.
Yeah, I didn't know. Like, I really thought, like, you know, I might as well really try to squeeze a small jump in here, whatever I can get, because the conditions are tough. And maybe he's killing it, but maybe there's a slight chance that he's not, and then I might as well take advantage of that if it happens.
Well, it worked out good.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, we didn't know the result. The live scoring just went down just as they put in your double forward, so we didn't have the double forward. We got to the end of the heat. Costa had won on the live scoring, but we knew you'd got a double forward to add in. It needed to be above 8.5, and we were like, he's probably got it. You know, it's going to be close, but we thought your double forward was just above 8.5, maybe 9. You know, high 8s, but it was going to be close, and we had to wait all the way till the stage before we found out what happened.
Ricardo kind of said something about that, and I didn't want to, like, you know, like, I really thought I didn't win because I didn't see him sailing.
Yeah.
And I was so happy for second, you know, and to win it is really, for me, unbelievable, especially in conditions like this.
Yeah.
And I never got further than 9 here.
Yeah.
And
well, Cold Hawaii, the Kia Cold Hawaii Pilaway event has caused some upsets. Last year, we had Thomas Traversa taking down Philip Costa. This year, we got Marcelio Brown taking home your first win on the Pilaway Tour.
Yeah, man.
A big. I mean, we got Gabriel on Twitter. He was saying... he was all rooting for you. The whole family are watching. So if you've got anything to say to them, I take it you can say in Brazilian. It probably.
Beijo grande para minha família inteira e obrigado por estar acompanhando. E eles sabem que eu tô com saudade deles. They know I miss them, and thank you for watching.
Good skills, man. Yeah. Good. I mean, I don't know what else to say apart from well sailed. It was a tough final. Like I said, all the way through, we had pretty good conditions, solid today. Yeah. And then as we got towards the end heat, the waves picked up and it went a bit more onshore and it made it really tough out there.
It was. Like, at some point, I was like, man, maybe I should try to get a starboard tack jump, you know, because
we were saying the same thing, it might happen.
It was so onshore, but I didn't quite get the speed, and it was hard to jump because the wind was slightly more port tack, but the wave swell was kind of making it harder because instead of the wave coming against you, it was kind of going away.
Yeah. We saw that. They caught you on a few doubles. As you were taking off,
I just lost the momentum and did a forward. And at first, I got really angry, but I'm happy I got one.
Wow. Yeah. It was worthwhile. That one double that you think it was worth getting. You know, you had to go hard to get that one. But that was the one that gave you that extra few points.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, man. I can't believe it. It's like, for me, it's my childhood dream, you know. I never thought that this day would happen, and sometimes it just feels like things go your way sometimes. And
you just got to keep working. Well, I was saying to Alessio, he had some bad news today. He thought he got through, he didn't. He was pretty upset. And I'm saying, you got to stay working. It's like you've not kind of got the break you've wanted. You know, you've been training, you've been putting the effort in, and, you know, the more you go, it comes.
Yeah, I felt like during this past couple of years, I had a few close heats that I lost, and I wouldn't say unfair because when it's close, you can't really complain, but it's kind of frustrating when it happens so many times and kind of doesn't go your way. But it's fair enough. The guys are so good, but to have a result like this, it's like, I can't believe it.
Yeah, and we talked about before, maybe Maui could happen. I think you've got to go. I think you've got some media
You're a wonder
responsibilities. Okay, Marsilio Brown.
Thank you so much.
Congrats,
Thank
man.
you.
There's a lot of
Thank you
support
so
out
much.
there online.
Congratulations.
So, well
Thank
done.
you. Thanks so much.
Okay, so Marsilio Brown taking home the first victory on the PWA Tour, and it was here at the Kia Cold Hawaii
Right.
PWA World Cup, the place that causes the upsets.
Apparently, yeah.
This
is
the
where the
upset
big
place.
guys go down.
This is where it
Cool.
all happens. So I don't know. What's the plan on live stream? I think that's it, isn't
I
it?
think that's it. I think we're wrapping up here.
I'm going to call the week. I've tried to do it
Yeah.
twice. We're going to do it now. Last Sunday, we had the Crown Prince rock up and do a bit of windsurfing. And he was pretty styling. He then jumped on a jet ski. He came out and we had some firing
had
down
good
the line
conditions,
conditions.
huh? Yeah.
And he got to see that firsthand. It was all over the press, all over the media. It was looking good. Then we had registration the next day.
Registration.
Why registration? Just before registration was on and during registration, the conditions were firing. It was
They were, like,
down the line,
side
like
off.
airs, goiters going off, and it was looking good. And we got through a few heats, I think,
we did the whole trial.
Did the whole trial.
Four heats?
With three heats, but we had the one heat that was
Yeah.
resailed enough times.
4 times.
With Lars Gobich going through, Moritz Mouth was looking good. We had, lots of other riders that actually made it through to the main event. We then got through one heat and only one heat on that first round. Marsilio Brown was one of these guys who got through on that first day, down the line, hell under the lip. And then we had one of the upsets of the competition, and we had wasn't the last. Danny Bruch going down to Moritz Mount, close heat, but it was Moritz who got through to the next round. Then what happened? We had a long wait. We had some supping. We had some down the line. Danny Bruch owning it on the
surfing conditions and supping conditions. We had horrible rain. We had fantastic sunshine.
We had perfect sunshine. We had swell all week. I mean,
like
I said, we had a racing sup competition. We had a wave riding sup competition with Danny Bruch. Actually got the better of Morris Mount, and we actually went out fishing. Don't ask, but the boys ended up catching their own supper. And we were just looking at this forecast the whole week. It wasn't looking good at one point. Then it was looking good.
I actually pretty much nailed it, huh?
Mikkel called it. He said, "Don't worry, Ben. I've been sitting here in Copenhagen on a Wednesday with nothing for the weekend. And by Sunday, I'm on a 3-7. Well, it wasn't quite exactly as right, but we did get conditions on Sunday out of nowhere.
Decent conditions, I'd say.
So we had a thought it could come in tomorrow. I mean, yesterday. We got out sailing, but it wasn't enough. So we got out there. We had a bit of a sail.